Hey guys, I'm Lee from Lee Likes Music, the place to share, explore, and learn about rock music from Bandcamp. And in today's video, we're going to look at Mac DeMarco's newest album, This Old Dog. So that's coming up. So for you guys who don't know Mac DeMarco, he is basically an artist from Alberta, Canada, and he is a multi-instrumentalist, singer-songwriter, and a producer. Altogether, he has created 3 studio albums, 2 mini LPs, and he has also collaborated on several different projects in addition to his solo career. The studio album that he released back in 2012, called 2, was actually the album that eventually gained him a lot of buzz. It gained a lot of positive criticism, it was very positively received, and it was acclaimed, and it was an album that garnered him the position as Best New Music in Pitchfork Media, so that was what kind of made him leap out there and gain a lot of popularity among the crowds. I personally love 2, and I also love Salad Days. Those are just amazing albums. I love so many of the tracks. There are so many of the tracks are so outstanding, and Mac DeMarco's sound is so original. I mean, you can immediately hear by the first 5-10 seconds whether it is a Mac DeMarco track or not. So yeah, it's very easy for me to put Mac DeMarco very high on my list in terms of the best modern contemporary artists, rock artists out there. Some of the albums that I didn't like are Rock and Roll Nightclub. That was one of his earlier releases, and I don't like another one either. For some reason, those tracks on there didn't quite stand out as much to me, and they weren't that cohesive. So yeah, that is just my impression of his previous works. Now, when it comes to my first impression of his newest album, This Old Dog, that was just released a few days ago, I actually think that this album, compared to his previous works, is a lot more subtle. He is using more of an acoustic guitar on many of the tracks here, so it's more silent, it's more calm, and it also has this dark and sad and tragic undertone to it. I mean, listen to the lyrics of the first track here. Look in the mirror. Who do you see? Someone familiar, but surely not me. So what these lyrics mean is that Mac DeMarco is literally just looking at himself in the mirror, and he is seeing that he's starting to grow older, and he is kind of seeing familiarities with another person, which is his father. And that is a topic that goes on throughout many of the songs on this album, the relationship that he has with his father. So if you look into the background story here, Mac DeMarco and his mother and his father, they actually had quite a bad relationship together. He was quite abusive to Mac's mother. He was an alcoholic, and he eventually left them, I think maybe when Mac was still very young. So yeah, he ended up never really getting to know his father, and they never were on the same side, I guess. So yeah, it's very tragic, it's really sad, and it's something that definitely puts a mark on many of the songs here. My Old Man, the first track, is an obvious reference to his father, but you also have tracks like On the Level, where he's singing, Make an old man proud of you, forget about the tears. You also have the song Watching Him Fade Away, where he is singing, Haven't got the guts to call him up, walk around as if you never cared in the first place. And then you have Moonlight on the River, which also has a reference in the lyrics, where he's singing, I'd say see you later, if I thought I'd see you later. And I'll tell you that I love you, if I did. It's so strange, deciding how to feel about it. Moonlight on the River is the song that impacted me a lot. It is one of the most outstanding tracks in my point of view. On this track, more than any of the other tracks, you can hear this concrete manifestation of the fear, the frustration, and the hatred that Mac DeMarco is feeling towards his father. It opens up as a very subtle track. It opens with drums, acoustic guitars, there's a bass, there's a solo guitar, and the solo guitar is adding this psychedelic effect to the song, which is it is washing over with these really powerful chords. And yeah, it's very powerful and very enigmatic to listen to. It gets you into this evocative zone.
I'm home with moonlight on the river.
The psychedelic and electric guitar that you hear during the intro is very quickly switched out with the vocals from Mac DeMarco, and his vocals sound a bit detached, not in a negative way, but it almost sounds like he is putting less volume, less power into the tracks, and that is not negative at all. It actually sets the tone for Moonlight on the River in general, because he sounds more ridden with fear and anxiety and, yes, sadness. His lyrics on the song, although they're quite literal, they actually give off many different sorts of moods. They sound serene, mystical, haunting, and beautiful all at the same time. And I love how the lyrics are so simplistic, but they end up giving you a sonic image, a narrative that is very widespread and gives you so many outlets for different moods. It's quite embracive. Is that a word? It's quite surprising to listen to this in the first place. That is what I'm trying to say. I'm home with moonlight on the river, saying my goodbyes. I'm home. There's moonlight on a river. Everybody dies. This is definitely one of my favorite tracks off the record. I love the slow progression of the instruments from start to finish. I love the subtle yet deep lyrics, as I just mentioned, an example of. And I also love the scramble of guitar noise and the just ominous evil laughter that Mac DeMarco is putting on this track during the end of the song. It just adds this dualistic, polarized atmosphere to the track. So yeah, it's definitely one of the tracks that stands out from the rest of the tracks, and to me it felt a lot more evocative and emotional and deep. Another one of my favorite tracks from this record is On the Level, and immediately when you put the song on, you will hear this 80s synth pop, synth rock inspired synth. I find it so chill to listen to this. It's really reminding me of some vaporwavy type of song, but then again, vaporwave is derived and comes from 80s synth, 80s pop music in the first place. But yeah, it has a very chill, very spacey vibe to it, poppy, folk vibe, I would almost call it. I don't know if that's a thing, but that is my way of interpreting it, at least. Again, the lyrics are linked up to his relationship with his father, because he is singing, "Boy, this could be your year. Make an old man proud of you. Forget about the tears." It seems like Marco, in writing these lyrics, he is taking the perspective of his father, and he's kind of telling Mac DeMarco to take a choice in his life, and also to leave the past that they have experienced behind, leave all the tears behind, so that we can start on a fresh, new level. The mood of the song, as I mentioned, is quite positive and chill actually. It creates this very eerie, soothing, and calm listening experience. If you listen to the chorus, you can hear this clash between the lead synth and the rhythm section, and that is just, it's a section of the song that is filled with catchiness and brilliance. I love it. Now, if we move back to the overall image of the record, Mac DeMarco is not only talking and writing and singing about his father and their relationship, he is also singing about love and about life. And these are topics that he has been known to sing about in previous songs as well, on previous records. It's something that he has kind of gained a reputation for. He is kind of a surface level life coach or something. In the songs Baby, You're Out, and One Another, you can definitely hear that he is singing about love, at least in One Another. but he's also singing about life in both of these tracks, kind of giving some advice, giving his take on how life should be lived and what is the best way to make decisions in life, kind of. And yeah, I don't know whether you want to follow his advice on life or not, but it's at least a good track, good lyrics nonetheless. This Old Dog and For the First Time are two tracks where it's actually focusing more on love. There's a reputation behind this record that him and Kiera, his girlfriend, I think, they've for a long time had this relationship, and I'm not sure what actually happened, but I know that Mac DeMarco and Kiera, they moved from New York to Los Angeles. I believe it's Los Angeles, I can't quite remember, but at least they moved, and Mac DeMarco is going through this transitional period of his life where he's getting older. He is having these troubles with his father. I was actually watching one of the interviews that he did on Coachella during last year, back in 2016, when he was recording this album. And on that interview, he mentioned that he had been going through a lot of anxiety. He was, just experiencing a lot of negative feelings. And that is not something you, I guess, relate. That is not the first thing that you think of if you're familiar with Mac's personality. He's a very quirky, very laid back, and really just positive guy. But this hardship that he's been going through, that is coming through on this record. And it's not only with his father, it's with his girlfriend Kiera as well, as you can listen to on This Old Dog and For the First Time.
While she's been away, living day to day, it's been tough.
I think what weighed the most on this album, and as you might already have guessed, is the lyrics. The lyricism on this album is really open. It is so fragile in a way. It is so sincere, so transparent, and that is something that Mac is very famous for. That is the reason why he has gained so much success as a singer-songwriter in the first place, I believe, because of his ingenuity and his authenticity, I guess. His transparency as a person in his music. Then you also have the cadence of the album. That is definitely one of the things that makes this album so great. It just has this amazing flow from start to finish. It is so good. It's so cohesive. And the reason why I believe it's so cohesive is because the instruments used here, it's a very simplistic lineup of instruments. You have the acoustic guitars, the synth, a drum machine, some electric guitar here and there, a few extra percussional instruments here and there, but it's used in a very sparingly way. And this sparingly, I'm using this word again, this very constricted lineup of instruments is what makes this record so cohesive. It's a bit repetitive, but it is, a lot of the tracks are sticking out enough to make it an interesting listen, and that is what I appreciate about this album. It flows, it is interesting, lyrically, narratively, I guess that's the word. So yeah, at the end of the day, I feel like this is a great record. It could have been better. There could have been more outstanding tracks, like Moonlight on the River was amazing, and On the Level, those were amazing tracks that I'm going to listen to and have on rotation over and over again. But yeah, if this album could have been better, there would have been more outstanding tracks. There would have been more versatility on the album. But yeah, still a good record. I would give it a 7 out of 10. And that's my rating for today. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you like to share, explore, and learn about rock music from Bandcamp, then I highly suggest you click that red subscribe button below. Also make sure you click that bell icon beside the subscribe button, because in that way you'll always get notified when I upload new videos to my channel. So yeah, thank you again for watching, guys. Let me know what you think about this album in the comments below. Let's start a discussion about this. I would love to be a part of that, and I hope to see you later. Stay tuned. Bye.